Hi guys. Okay, it's day 11 and I'm late. I usually get on a lot earlier, but I had one of those crazy days, crazy days. I have a bumper sticker on my card that says, um, plan to improvise, and it was applicable today. Everything I had scheduled got rescheduled and rescheduled and canceled and rescheduled and canceled. So, um, we have been busy as bees here trying to get things done because my 18-year-old is flying to Boston in the morning. An unexpected trip. Hey Melissa, thanks for coming on. And tonight's topic is the games that I've played. And I thought it would be real easy and real short, and then I read the whole description, and they said to talk as much as you can, and you should never tell me that because I could probably talk for 20 minutes about the different games that I played as kids. So I made a list. First of all, I categorized it, of course. I have to put things in boxes. First category was outside or inside. And the first games that I can remember playing outside were with my cousins and neighborhood kids, and we would play hide and go seek and jump rope and hopscotch on the sidewalks with chalk. As I got a little bit older, we would build forts. I loved to build forts out of boxes, and thinking back, it's kind of interesting because I realized that the girls always wanted to get inside the boxes and draw pictures on the walls and do stuff inside. And I always wanted to be on the outside painting flowers and window boxes and cutting windows out. And I was always designing the outside, which is kind of ironic since that's what I do now. I do remember something really funny. When I was probably 9 years old, I had my first boyfriend. And we built a huge fort out of about 5 different boxes. And I think he had gotten some duct tape, and we put little boxes and big boxes, and there was different rooms inside the fort. And when we got completely done and we were done drawing and everything on it, he said, okay, I'm going to be the president of the company, and looked at me and he said, and you can be my secretary. And I looked at him and said, no, I'm going to be the president, and you can be the vice president, and she can be the secretary. So even at a young age, I was willing to challenge the boys. Another thing that I remember when I was younger in that particular neighborhood, because I lived a lot of different places, hi Lewis, was playing kick the can. And I lived in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids at that time, and we would play kick the can until late in the night. And my favorite part was when the mosquito machines would come through. This was in New Orleans, and fog. And of course, now as an adult, I know if I saw a fogging machine, I would grab my kids and bring them in the house. But we didn't know better back then. I don't think my parents knew better either. And so the kids and I would all chase the truck like for half a mile and play in the fog like it was like fairyland. So that was kind of fun. Kick the can in the fog, in the mosquito fog, which is probably why I'm a little wackadoodle today. And then the other thing is swings, and I love to swing. And my grandmother on my dad's side lived right across the street from a park, which was great because she had 16 grandkids. So whenever we would go to my grandmother's house, we would all, do whatever we had to do, excuse me, chores or whatever, so that we could go across the street and get on the swings. And my one cousin Deanna and I think probably Sharon and Debbie and Marianne, we would swing all day, just hours and hours and hours we would swing. And my memory is that they're huge swings, really tall swings. I remember going back as an adult and sitting on the swings and going, wow, these are really short swings. But they seemed really big when I was a kid. The other kind of games that I loved to play were indoor games. And being an only child and being a military brat, moving so much, I often had only my parents to play with. And my mom didn't play very many games, but my dad loved to do puzzles, and he loved to play cards. And we'd play concentration, and we would play, he would always My dad would always buy a puzzle at Christmas, and he'd always accuse me of stealing one of the pieces, that one of the pieces was missing all the way through the puzzle. There's a piece missing, there's a piece missing. And then somehow at the end of it, he would find the piece on the floor under the table. But he'd always say that I had stolen the piece, and I would always think, why would he even accuse me? I would never even think to take a puzzle piece. So I was pretty ethical even at a young age. I wouldn't have even thought to have stolen the puzzle piece. I also liked to play Barbies when I was a little girl, but unlike the other girls that wanted to spend all the time dressing them up and doing their hair, I wanted to make environments for them. I wanted to make beach scenes with sand, and I would take wood and tie it together and make benches and park benches, and I'd take mirrors, just the flat mirrors, and put them on the ground and put sand around it and make ponds that they could gaze into, I guess. And I would take cuttings off of branches and bushes and put little trees in, and I was always making things for the Barbies to live in. My kids, they got Barbie buses and Barbie all kinds of stuff, but they didn't have that when I was a kid, so I was always making the environment, the inside and the outside environments for my Barbies. And then, of course, my favorite is card games, and my first earliest memories of cards were my dad letting me stand behind him while he played bridge, and he would let me count his points, and he would correct me, you know. I would say how many points, and I would whisper it in his ear, and he'd say, yeah, you're right, or no, more, put his thumb up or thumb down. But I learned how at about 6 years old to count the tricks in the bridge hands. I then went on to, at age 9, I got busted for winning, playing poker with some old guy down the street. My dad and them freaked out because they thought, you know, he was probably a child molester or something, but he never tried anything with me. He was just bored and at home all day and probably a drunk, and who knows, but we'd sit at his table outside on the porch and play cards, and he taught me how to play poker, and I won like $1.32 in pennies. So my dad went down and had a talk with him, no more poker. So then my dad really taught me how to play poker and blackjack, and then I learned how to play spades and gin rummy from my aunts, and I've always loved to play games. I taught my kids how to play card games, and we played Risk and Monopoly, but I'd always want to play cards or dice. And the last time my kids were all together, I was like, hey, can we sit down and play cards? So I'll be great at the old folks' home someday, because I'll be down there every morning playing cards all day, I'm sure. Well, this is the day 11. We still have the rest of the 19 days, I guess, left. And it's been fun, and it's been great seeing everybody tonight. Hi, Deanna and Donna, and wow, I can see all these names. I used to have that light on, and I can't see anything on my screen, but tonight I can see it, and I see Sandra there, and oh, thanks for all the hearts, you guys. That's awesome. All right, well, as I said at the beginning, plan to improvise. That's the best way to get through life. And I will see you tomorrow, and I look forward to whatever the topic is going to be. We'll do another spin with this thing. All right. Love you. Bye.